It's a Jackalope Carnival! Jackalope Carnival!
Hello, and welcome to Jackalope Carnival, a podcast where we look at human beliefs through myth, history, the paranormal, and the downright odd. I'm Bekah.
And I'm Eric.
And we'll be your hosts through this sideshow of stories. So, today
on Jackalope Carnival.
Not bells, and not really witches.
Nope.
But the Bell Witch, which is a little misleading.
Yep, which is neither a bell nor a witch.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, so what is this Bell Witch phenomenon? Well, if you want to go investigate it yourself...
There's a ton of stuff.
The town of Red River, Tennessee would love you to go down there because this is kind of the cornerstone of their whole town economy at the moment, it seems.
I had not heard of it before you told me about the Bell Witch, to be honest. And it's weird because that is huge.
Yeah. They have the Bell Witch Cave. You can go explore it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, there's a whole lot going on there. So if you like this kind of thing, or if you listen to this episode and this is your jam, head on down. It's on the border. It's actually just a few miles south of Kentucky, in central Tennessee. And by all accounts, the area around there is really nice. Like, it's a beautiful part of the country. And if you want to do some paranormal investigating, it's there.
The only cave I'm going to investigate is Black Bart's Cave in Casa Bonita in Denver, Colorado.
All right.
If you know what that is, you know.
Well, there you go. I don't. So someday maybe you'll have to tell me. Or we'll do an episode on it. Is it
South Park did.
Is that right? Is this something a Jackalope Carnival episode could be about?
Yeah, Casa Bonita is definitely up there with
Okay.
Jackalope Carnival weirdness.
Cool. Well, you know what else is up there with Jackalope Carnival weirdness is in 1894, Martin Van Buren Ingram, not the president, but a man named for him from the Ingram family.
Yeah, you know how I feel about Martin Van Buren.
Yeah, more Martin Van Ruin. An authenticated history of the famous Bell Witch. He published this. And this becomes the source book, the original source book for a lot of the Bell Witch legends. And I have to say that I've read now more than anybody should of secondary sources. I just went ahead and found the book itself, the text of the original book, and read it or went through it. And it's chock full of all kinds of stuff. If you're not too into 19th century text, maybe stick to the secondary sources. It's not fun. But in it, it gives a chronicle of a bunch of different phenomenon. Basically, what it seems like to me is that reading Ingram's book, it looks like he just either walked around the county, and this is what it feels like to me. Again, I don't know. I wasn't there, and I'm not a Bell Witch expert. But the amount of very different phenomenon that he chronicles in this book that goes everything from like what we would call poltergeist activity to spiritualism, to things that even sound almost like possession. All those different phenomenon of all different kinds all seem to get put into this Bell Witch bin. And
Escape Witch?
Maybe. I mean, but he kind of collects all of them. Anything that was, paranormal or unusual that happened in Red River, Tennessee gets put into the Bell Witch book, and the Bell Witch gets blamed for a lot of stuff.
It's a little refreshing to me that it's not blamed on a Native American burial ground, at least. So I'll give her that.
There's a Native American burial ground.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
Of course there is.
Yeah, there is, though. I'm really sorry. I mean, it's a 19th century text. It's got all of the greatest hits that I'm not even going to get into because I was wincing while reading it, and it's gross. But there's more than enough baked in also gender dynamics going on here. And it's funny because it's not, I've read a couple of articles now that are reading into the text and saying like, oh, we can tell a lot about the history of the relationships between men and women at this time, but it's in the original text. It's there. And I'll read you my one favorite actual piece. And it really does show that, boy, oh boy.
I have a little fear now.
You should. So the Bell Witch was so named because a haunting of sorts found itself resting upon the Bell family and their property. And one of the investigators was attempting to engage the spirit that was haunting. And the spirit identified itself as Kate Batts, or it was asked, actually, are you Kate Batts? And Kate Batts was a woman who actually had lived nearby. And this is how Ingram describes Kate Batts, the living one. Quote, she was a large, fleshy woman, weighing over 200 pounds and headstrong, and very exacting in her dealings with men.
They didn't like Kate very much, I'm guessing.
No, they did not. So, right, when a troublesome spirit shows up nearby in the nearby Bell property, they're like, hey, are you Kate? Because, Kate was exacting and troublesome and headstrong. And the spirit actually goes, yes, yeah, that's it, I'm Kate. And responded to the name Kate from that point forward. Although there's a couple of accounts where apparently she says she's not Kate, and says like, I don't know who you're talking about. The spirit is troublesome, quite honestly. And this to me, I'll tell you again, I've never been there. I certainly wasn't there when the book was written, or if any of these events are real.
Eric's trying to tell us all he's not the Bell Witch.
I am not the Bell Witch.
So he's got an alibi. He's not the Bell Witch.
I have a rock solid alibi. I was cited. I know exactly where I was in 1817. Thank you very much. But no. I mean, because one of the things that people say is that this was all made up, right? That Martin Van Buren Ingram just wrote a book and published it and got famous. And he did, right? I mean, here we are in 2025 talking about him. So, score 1 point for, Mr. Ingram there. But on the other hand, I don't think this is completely fabricated. And the reason for it is because it doesn't make any sense.
Well, and it's authenticated, isn't it? Like there was famous people who were involved.
There is one famous person who was involved, speaking of Martin Van Buren, but it was not. It was his predecessor and mentor, Andrew Jackson.
My other favorite.
Yeah, I know.
The combo. I love them.
Right. We have now hit the trifecta, right? We've got Indian Burial Ground, Martin Van Buren, and Andrew Jackson.
I mean, I'm going to go back and haunt these. Yeah.
You're going to go back. Yeah, have at it.
Maybe I was the Bell Witch.
Mm-hmm. Could be. But the reason why is, again, because when you read 19th century ghost stories, they tend to make sense. They have a narrative structure to them. The ghost does what you expect ghosts to do. And there's a bit of that. My favorite is the accounts in the book where it's like, and the ghost dragged James across the floor at night. And I'm like, no, it did not. Like, that is way too stereotypical. No self-respecting ghost would do this.
You're saying it's like an afternoon activity? Is that what you're telling us?
I'm saying that, like, no. I'm sorry. Just no. It's like going to an Irish bar and requesting them playing a folk song. Nobody's going to do that.
Eric, I can never tell what you're going to believe and what you're not going to believe. It's like, oh, this was a bridge too far.
Ghosts do not drag chains, man. It's too stereotypical. But no, okay, yeah. Hey, do I know what my litmus test of truthiness is? No, I don't. I just know it when I smell it. But all these other things and the phenomenon are wide and varied. We got people getting pushed out of beds. We got pillows being pulled from underneath heads. We got poisonings. We got one event of very famous poisoning. We have attacks on enslaved people. We have messing with clergy people.
Ghosts definitely do that.
Sure. Why not? There's one person who seems to think that, and this might be Ingram himself. I don't know if he was giving voice to someone else or if this was his thing. He was saying that all this phenomenon might have come about because they were trying to blend two religions that had no business being together.
Shocking.
Yeah. Do you want to know what these two religions were?
I'm guessing there were two branches of Christianity.
So much better than that. Two branches of Protestant Christianity.
Yeah.
It was the unholy melding of Baptists and Methodists.
I knew it was Methodist.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was going to be Methodist.
Well, Baptists and Methodists. I mean,
yeah, no. I mean, I knew it was going to be Baptist specifically and Methodist because there was a hierarchy, and Baptists weren't in it at that time.
And what are we? I mean, cats and dogs lying together, mixing Coke and Pepsi. I mean, what other horrible things could happen if we get Baptists? And do you know what the one thing a Baptist nor a Methodist will find in a liquor store? each other. Anyway, so getting back to the story, that's an old Methodist joke.
I don't even understand it.
Oh, because they were both really active in the Prohibition movement, in the temperance movement in the 19th century. And so a lot of Baptists and Methodists
They just
signed
brewed
pledges.
it. They did their home brew where no one could see them. Got it.
Oh, you're throwing shade now. Them's fighting
No,
words.
I just know the history of North Carolina, and I know the history of stills. So
Well, still. Anyway, selling it is not the same as drinking it. It's for medicinal purposes, Bekah.
all right.
So anyway, getting back to the original Bell story. So as I've already said, the book itself, I've read it. You can find it. It's very easy to track down. It's not always an easy read, but it is just sort of like a hodgepodge of different paranormal accounts from the area. And the paranormal events that they're describing read like a modern day ghost hunting show. Okay. Spirits knocking, chewing sounds, scratching, poltergeist activity, so forth and so on.
I was going to do them for you, but
Oh, that can be post-production. Yeah, it's all the things. And here's the thing. I don't know that Ingram himself was a student of the paranormal because the way he talks about them, it doesn't seem like he's got a real good knowledge, like background knowledge. Like he's talking about all these things as if they are singular in Tennessee at this time. Like this is the only place where people have heard chewing sounds. This is the only
obviously
place.
he's never been to West Virginia, which is what, Eric? The per capita right
That's
now?
right. Yes. It's according to the Weekly World News, America's true paper of record. Thank you very much. The, what is it? The Ghost National Product?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is highest in West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Absolutely.
That's their national product is ghost stories.
So he tells the
Ghosts.
story in his book, though, of Mr. John Bell, who was married to Lucy Bell. He was born in 1750 in Halifax County, North Carolina. Lucy Bell, likewise, is also a North Carolinian. But they decide that they're going to go west, and they're going to go west in the early 19th century. 1804, he gets some property in Tennessee, some good property. And he decides he's going to move his family there, and they're going to, that's where they're going to make their life.
Homestead, because that was the hinterlands.
Oh,
in
absolutely. Oh, yeah.
1804.
100%. He's in the frontier. He's in the middle of nowhere at the time. So he gets there, and actually life is good and quiet for the first 12, 13 years. No incidents until one day he sees a large black creature, a beast, and he decides to take a shot at it. The beast scurries off. And then later on, his son sees a strange bird. And there's no other...
Wait a minute. Is this the Mothman?
I'm telling you, man, this is like the unified field theory of paranormal activity. So the son, Drew, shoots at the strange bird. Because apparently, do you know what you do in Tennessee in the 19th century if you see a strange animal?
I don't know what that is, Pop.
Better
Best shoot it.
Yeah, exactly. He shoots at the strange bird, and the strange bird also does not die. But boy, howdy does that start roiling things for the family. Soon, enslaved people on the property see two-headed black dogs that start attacking them. And then Betsy, the daughter, and she's going to figure prominently in the story, Betsy even sees a girl in a green dress hanging from the trees in the woods.
Creepy.
Yeah, for real. Except that when I actually went to that was the secondhand version. When I went to the actual firsthand account, it's unfortunately less creepy. I like the creepier version better, but it seems like she saw like a girl in a green dress, like swinging from a tree, not hanged in the way that we're thinking.
Like girl Tarzan kind of?
Yeah,
thing?
like girl playing in a tree, not, scary body.
To be fair, that would have really probably scared some folks in 1804.
Green dresses? Terrifying.
Girls playing in trees.
Yep. What's next?
You could see her ankles.
You could probably see her ankles. So after that, the phenomenon moves indoors. They start hearing the knocking and the scratching and the gnawing and the growling and the chains across the floor.
The gnashing of teeth.
Chains across the floor. How stereotypical. And then it escalates from there. It starts messing with people. It pushes the kids out of bed. Betsy apparently is the one that the spirit really likes messing with. Betsy is the daughter. She takes a lot of the brunt of it. She gets pillows pulled from underneath her. She gets pushed out of bed a couple times. But do you know who the ghost really hated? It hated John himself, the master of the property, and said it was going to kill him. Like it outright said that. Like, I am going to kill John Bell. It liked Lucy. And whenever it spoke, and it spoke a lot, it talked to the family
So
constantly.
Lucy's the mom, right?
Lucy is the mom. Lucy is John's wife. And it always spoke kindly to her, but hated John a lot, and apparently didn't like Betsy very much either. In fact, it totally messed with Betsy's love life. It screwed with her to the point where she called off a wedding.
That might be my favorite part of the story thus far.
The fact that after the ghost, I'm revealing here. After the ghost kills her father, the stress of it makes her go like, no, I can't do this. This is too much. And sends the suitor packing. Yeah.
Don't marry. You wouldn't want to marry into that family.
You think? Especially because the ghost follows the kids off the property. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So General Jackson, around at this point, it looks like somewhere in the this is before he dies, so the 18 teens, I think around 1819, General's not yet President Andrew Jackson comes calling with some soldiers. And the book, okay, once again, you can not laugh at me because I seem to make arbitrary distinctions about what I think is real and what I think it isn't, what isn't real. The Andrew Jackson account feels 100% fake to me. Mostly because there's a lot of direct quotes from Andrew Jackson, and Ingram said that he didn't write this book until the 1830s. So direct quotes that are decades old, first of all, are kind of suspect. Like, I know that just as a historian. And two, the things that Jackson are saying sound exactly like what you would find in a talk bubble from a 1960s comic book. Everything starts with the phrase, "by the Eternals." So Andrew Jackson's like, "By the Eternals, this spirit is very loathsome. By the Eternals, I will not rest until I see this spirit with mine own eyes." Things like that. And it's like, he absolutely positively did not say these things, right? If anything, Andrew Jackson is cussing. He was.
Yes.
Yeah. He's not saying by the Eternals. What does that even freaking mean?
Perhaps he wasn't saying by the Eternals, and that was a way of not publishing what he was actually saying. It's
euphemism.
The book.
Yeah. It seems to be his favorite euphemism because it seems to punctuate everything he says, by the Eternals, which I found hilarious. But yeah, and Jackson comes out looking like a superhero. He brought like a wagon full of supplies for the Bell family as a gift. The ghost tries to stop it, by the way, by making...
Good. I like the ghost here.
Yeah,
good job, ghost.
Yeah, the ghost apparently is trying to makes the wheels of the wagon stick until Andrew Jackson threatens it, and then it unsticks it because Andrew Jackson
Hickory.
can do that. By the Eternals. Yeah, anyway, I'm not buying the whole Andrew Jackson part of it. I'm
just not buying Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. Give me all your 20s. Anyway, after 3 years of torment, John Bell dies of poisoning. Yeah. One of the accounts say, and I couldn't find this in the actual Ingram book, but one of the accounts say that a bottle of poison was found next to John Bell's bed.
I mean, I admittedly have never heard this story in its entirety before. Mm-hmm. But it's nice to the wife. Poison's involved. The husband dies. Stops a marriage that may not have been suitable for the daughter. Just saying.
Are you saying there's
Lucy's looking
a string of circumstantial evidence here? Because
I would check on Lucy.
Yeah, okay. Lucy did fine.
Yeah, of course she did fine.
So anyway, with that's it for at least the John Bell portion of the story. The ghost apparently did what it came to do and vacated the property and said that we'd be back. And Ingram himself says that the ghost followed one of the children to Mississippi or Alabama. And there are accounts of ghost stories from them too. Like apparently the ghost followed the children. My favorite though...
It made them go to college and get good jobs.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Right. One of the accounts though, this is a secondary account that I found on the web. It's from a ghost hunter site. And it says that the ghost came back to John Bell Jr. and had like a new agey chat with him where he was like, a new spirit is coming to America and the spirit of revival is needed for this generation or something like that. But I couldn't find that in Ingram's story. So I don't know where that came from. But the new agey version of the Bell Witch was kind of an interesting twist. Didn't see that coming.
The Bell Witch sounded like she was real into Manifest Destiny at this point.
It had like definitely more of a Shirley MacLaine kind of feel to it than a Manifest Destiny. Yeah, it was sort of like, it had like an Atlantis-y kind of sheen to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the Bell Witch story right there.
Well, it was.
It was. Except you found something too, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually found something from 1968. And actually, the article was written much later. The article is from the 21st century, but it is a legend that had circulated around Middle Tennessee State University, or MTSU, and it talks about a legend that is and has been traditional amongst the university, that in 1968, a girl who was doing research into genealogy and family history found out she was a descendant of the Bell family. And supposedly she lived in this Lion Hall, which eventually they actually have to close off. And she becomes fascinated with this Bell Witch discovery in this family. And she ends up dying or having killed herself or being poisoned by the Bell Witch. This is a legend that's been going through the campus since the 60s. No, they say brought to death by the influences. So
the vapors.
Her influences were poison. I'm So the rumor existed, but in 1999, they interviewed a professor about it and basically said that the student's problem started because her research notes were out of order, and then she started having dreams, and then she did actually kill herself. But then there's another telling of someone else who said they were there, that the room where the girl had died had been turned into a storage closet, which... It all sounds like, why would they do that? But, Eric, if you do recall, where we went to college, there was a room that had several student suicides or rumors of student suicides, and they stopped letting people stay in that very room.
At one point, legend becomes fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of, I don't know, if there's a theme of any of this, maybe it's that, because the Bell Witch legend is now so kind of dyed into the economy and the folklore of Red River, Tennessee, that even if this is made up, it's now part of the story. I mean, it's now part of the local community, at least. So
honestly, though, now I'm wondering, do some research. Maybe you can find your descendant from the Bell Witch.
No, thanks.
Spooky.
I'm cool.
All right. So that's our story for today. Wado for listening. And don't check your genealogy for the Bell Witch. Let that be a lesson.
Take care, folks.
Jackalope Carnival!